Hey guys, hey, it's Bob over at Bob's Cycle Barn. I've got a new addition today. I want to talk a little bit about it. If you go on Charles City Dirt Riders, we've also got a shot of it running. Jesse got it started and rode it around for just a minute. But what it is, it's a 1978 Harley Davidson MX 250 motocrosser. They only made it for 1 year. It was a limited run. I'll talk more about it in just a minute. In the 1970s, Harley got bought out by AMF. Right there you see it. Now AMF is that company that is into bowling balls. They have bowling ball alleys. They also I think they produced bowling ball equipment and stuff like that, but in the 70s they were trying to expand, and so they bought out Harley Davidson and AMF, and Aramucci, bought them out and started to try to get into motocross as a diversification. It didn't make any sense then. It still doesn't make any sense because it was completely out of their wheelhouse as far as this was concerned. But anyway, so they made the bike. It was produced by Aramucci in Italy. Harley at that point owned that company, so AMF got both companies when they bought Harley. Now, what they did was they produced this bike in the '78. They hired they hired 3 pros, well-known pros, to race the bike. It was Marty Tripes, Marty Tripes, Rex Staten, and Rich Erstat. Marty Tripes, of course, at that point was already a legend. He won the very first Supercross race at age 16. So he was a legend by that point. That was back in '72, I believe. And they hired Rick Staten because he was a well-known being fast and tough, and he was a test rider by that point in time, so he was hired to help develop the bike. They all 3 lined up for nationals, but they didn't do very. They had a few top 10 finishes, but that was about it. Rick Staten's bike that had fork legs. They took fork legs and cut them down, and for the life of me, they were bigger diameter than these fork legs you see here, but they put fork legs on the back of them. They were cut way down, of course, to fit where the shocks were. It actually made some sense, but it was an experiment that didn't last very long. I can guarantee you the shocks that came on that bike were junk. Now this one has Moto Fox shocks on it. I think they're still being made. I know they make them for bicycles. I assume they're still making them for this, but they had remote reservoirs on them. They were good forks, okay? Good shocks. All right, so that was a little bit about it. This bike was ridden by Tony Richter. He's in Indiana. I don't know much about him. I believe he was a pro, though, up there. I'm going to get more information on him later on. All right, some more things about it. So Aramucci developed this bike, but it was slow and heavy. Rich made the comment the bike was like a 125. And that makes a lot of sense, the way they look at the shape of the pipe and stuff like that. You know, you were always you either had to be on the power or you weren't going anywhere. Like I said, they only did a few top 10 finishes, and then AMF pulled the plug on them 1 year later. There's only a handful of these bikes still left. I think I've heard only 100 of them, but there may have been more than that developed. But there's very few of them around. I've always wanted one of these bikes. I've always liked the looks of them. Of course, you know I bleed orange anyway. But I've always liked the looks of them. They look like they're fast as hell. So Jessie got it going a little while ago. She rode it around for a few minutes. We're going to clean it back up and put it away in the museum. what I want to do now is I'm going to go in and talk about the few other bikes I have that are Harley Davidson related dirt bikes, and spend a couple minutes on that since we're on this subject today. So I'll put this on pause for just a minute and go from there. Okay guys, a couple other bikes I have that are Harley related. The first one is this 69 Harley, I think they call it a Sprint. This is a pretty nice one. It needs to be dusted off and everything, but this is pretty nice. The only thing wrong with it, that's not even a bad problem, but the rims, of course, are steel, and they had some little surface rust and stuff on there. We cleaned those up as best we could, but that's about all we've done to this bike. It starts and runs, it's fine. But at this point, it's going to be just parked and left alone, unmolested. The other one I want to show you, well, you've all heard of Harley Davidson Sportsters, right? Well, this is a Harley Davidson Shortster, okay? It was their little pit bike type thing. They also had another one, a little Baja, I think it was a 125. I've been looking for one of those. I haven't found one yet. They were well plentiful, but they were beat to death and ragged out and discarded. But anyway, this is a Shortster. We're going to try to get this one back running. The problem for us is, so far, is the throttle housing is missing, okay? The throttle's there, and what's left of the throttle cable, but the throttle housing is missing. And I cannot find that anywhere. I've been looking and looking and looking. So if you got one laying around, let me know. I'll get it from you. All right, and then the third bike I wanted to talk to you about is this Harley here. Again, I'm sorry it's so dusty, but now even though it's got that German helmet up on the top of it, this is an American motorcycle, and Harley made this for the government. Okay, so you got the cases there. It was a courier bike, and it's got a case on this side, a case over on this side, although you can see it's not there, it's back there in the back, but I have that. It was basically used for doing the courier services. Okay, I'm gonna walk on around here and get here from the back. Here you can see one kind of like a little toy one that I got somewhere or another. But anyway, so a little toy Harley. Okay, all right, right. Right next to it here, by the way, is my Steve McQueen Husky, owned by Steve McQueen. But anyway, so this thing had a Rotex engine in it, which was a smart way to go for them. They developed the frame, put a Rotex gas engine in it, and went to the government to try and sell it. Well, unfortunately for them, the government had just decided no more gas bikes, no more gas. They're going to go strictly to diesel. And so Harley made this thing. They produced 500 of them. This is one of them. So they never made any inroads with the government. And like I said, the government was going to. Now, in the back here is your little machine gun case, okay? All right, in the back, all right? And here it is, all right, little, what we used to call a grease gun, all right? All right, so that was for the soldiers. Like I said, it had plenty of places. It had a rack on the back for storage. I understand, I think I rode this around when I first got it, but it's slow. But it's not as bad as what's being made for the government now. What's being made for the government now is Kawasaki has a diesel engine, and they are terribly slow from everything I've heard. But anyway, this is it. It's 600 cc's. It was another one of their failed attempts to break into other motorcycle markets besides their street bikes. But anyway, so that's the story from here today. I hope you enjoyed this. And I got some more videos coming, so stay tuned for those things.